Welcome to this special episode of Whiskey and WealthTech. I am your host, Alex Serman, Managing Director of Wealth and Institutional here at First Rate. And today I am joined by Dave and Trina Stone, a little bit off location in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico.
Yes.
So, Dave, Trina, welcome.
Thank you.
You want to explain why are we in Mexico right now?
We're here for a company retreat. First Rate is having their first international retreat, and it's a beautiful location. We could make a commercial.
Yeah, we really could. And so, to honor that, we are drinking a Mexican whiskey rather than some of the usual whiskey that we have. So this is a 100% corn whiskey, so a little bit different than what you typically think of as a bourbon or a scotch, where this is 100% corn, finished or aged in oak barrels. But why don't we give it a try?
Very good. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
Smells good.
And I did forget to mention that the name of this whiskey is Abasolo. And so when I'm drinking this, it's really smooth. I get a lot of the vanilla corn dust notes, but
Very good. I think I'd like it on ice.
On ice. It's a little.
It's good.
It is a little hot.
But it's good.
It's definitely hitting me
On the backs of the cheeks.
back
there.
of the cheeks, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And here too.
It gives you that nice warm sensation all the way down, but you know, I've found that this is a really quality whiskey, just really good. Big crowd pleaser, I've found.
This is really good.
But
Now, where do you get this in America?
so this I got at Total Wine.
There you
So you know, for those of you in Texas, I mean, this is in the international whiskey section. You know, might be a little bit hidden behind some of the other Japanese or Indian single malts that kind of take the main stage in that corner of the store. But you might be able to find yourself a bottle of Abasolo. It's pretty reasonably priced, and so I highly recommend you check it out. And they do not sponsor our episode.
There you go. Well, they should. It's very good, even for a non-connoisseur of wine. Whiskey.
So let's dive right in. So you guys have been the owners and operators, founders of First Rate, that's now been in business for over 30 years. So that's a really big accomplishment. And so can you tell us a little bit about how did First Rate get started and kind of what makes First Rate different?
How did it get started? It got started because Dave got fired one day.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I did.
And he came up with a brilliant idea that he'd start his own company. And I was on board 100% from day one.
Yeah, the journey into our company's start was us moving to Texas in 1983 to work for a vendor who sold a performance measurement product called IPS, Investment Performance System. And I was a programmer for them. And that company ended up, was headquartered in Dallas. It was purchased by SEI in the late 80s. And so with that acquisition, we became a part of SEI, and we were one of about 4 different performance measurement vendors, products that SEI owned. And they had a very strategic decision-making process of what are we going to do going forward. And the one that they had purchased in Dallas was really a small part of a more strategic decision to buy some record-keeping software and services and not performance. So we were not strategic, and they began to make it clear that IPS was not going to be a part of their future. And so in April of 1991, after working there for about 8 years, SEI and Dave parted ways, and it began this journey of starting First Rate and running First Rate. So that's kind of the employment background. The other journey for us,
idea background.
yeah, the other thing for us was we had moved to Texas in '83 with an expectation that we would be here about 5 years.
It's been 42 years now.
And it's been a lot more than 5. But yeah, I would say one of the reasons for that is that our spiritual journey is a part of our family journey, our business journey. And in the summer of 1990, when SEI and I was still working at SEI, I had a vision about a business in North Arlington, not in Pennsylvania and not in Dallas, but actually in Arlington, that would be a company that would express God's character to the co-workers, to our customers, and also in the community of North Arlington.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a vision for a company being a little bit different around its purpose. It still would be performance related. It would still be serving the wealth management business, but the purpose of the company would be a little bit different, expressing God's character. And that's what came to us in the summer of 1990, and that was about 9 months before we parted ways with SEI in April of 1991.
And so, you've talked about why you founded First Rate, kind of how that got started. Started with being fired, but taking that idea and running with it out of your bedroom and
Mm-hmm.
out of your living room, and now it's a global company. We're on several continents, seven countries, several continents. We're now doing an international retreat. We've got over 200 employees. What's made First Rate so successful? Because a lot of what First Rate does, how we're organized, how we do business, is so vastly different than what other people are doing, and that's clearly working. So kind of what's been that secret to success?
I'll let you go first. And then I'll add
I think there's lots of ways to do business, and we have some business practices that are maybe, I wouldn't say unique, but certainly different. And one of those is that we knew that this was an assignment from God, and so we've had an orientation towards not just pursuing our own personal dreams, but pursuing a bigger purpose that was bigger than us. And one of those clues early on, the IPS system that I was involved with in 1991 was doing about $2 million a year in revenue at the time. And when we started the business, we felt like God was saying, this is going to be bigger than you've ever had an opportunity to be a part of. And so in that dream that we had, the vision that we had, it would be $100 million in sales, which is 50 times bigger than I had any experience. So it really stretched my imagination and thinking about what that could look like and how we might get there. But in our starting our business with a purpose to serve God and His character, it still was tied to providing bank trust departments performance measurement, and doing that in a way that I think was like what we did in the past, but it was going to be a little bit different. And we've embraced some of the differences really from a very, very early stage. One of those differences was in the 80s. In the 80s, software was sold, and these banks owned the software, and they paid a maintenance to the seller. Early on, and probably about 1993, we started licensing First Rate Performance, and one of those new ideas was we wouldn't actually sell it, we would just license it to them and they would rent it. Mm-hmm. And so we've been a subscription vendor from almost since its beginning, and that has grown in popularity. Now just about everybody that is offering software and software as a service is doing it on a rental basis mm-hmm. or a subscription basis. And so that was one of the very early things that we did, and now it's not so different, but back then it was very different.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing we say is we came along at the right time, the right place, because things were beginning to switch over from mainframe to PC-based products. And where Dave said they were selling a licensed software, a whole software package, and it cost as much as the mainframe did or more. Mm-hmm. We began to develop a product that was on the PC, which means it was a lot less expensive. And actually our license was going to be more than what the PC cost. And that was an unusual model back then.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think I knew that part.
Yeah.
The old rule of thumb was software could only sell for the cost of the hardware. And so that's not related anymore, and no one even thinks that way. But in the 80s, it was still the dominant pricing model. Mm-hmm. Whatever software you wanted to sell, it was only priced based on the amount of hardware they had to buy.
Yeah.
Wow.
We changed the model on that.
We help change that. Yeah.
And so now you've gone from switching from mainframe to PC-based applications. We're now doing things with AI. We are, spearheading some of the technical forefront of what firms are doing. And so you guys have really seen a lot of how this industry has changed over the last 30 years.
A lot of innovation.
A lot of innovation. And
Yes.
so, one of the things that I like to ask, my guests is, so, we've seen all of these changes over the years. In your opinion, what's next? What's the next big thing?
We got to get the AI down.
Yeah, certainly artificial intelligence, machine learning, and using large database, large models to capture insights that what I would think when I think through this, all of our clients have all of their data in an isolated database that generally only that client can see their data, which is what we want everyone to know. You can't see other people's data.
Yeah.
But at the same time, by bringing the data together but eliminating any of the identification of account ownership and things like that, there's insights that across clients that can be gained. So when we think about AI and machine learning, it's not just on the client's own data, it's getting them to collaborate, cooperate, so that everybody's data can be a part of a larger warehouse or a data lake, different words around. Let's let everybody glean insights from data that's not just their own, but each other. And I think this is going to transform the kind of insights that we get and that we're able to deliver to our clients, not by stealing each other's secret sauce, but looking at actual data
Trends and analysis.
Yeah.
And allows even for kind of like your own peer universe type of information.
That is correct.
And so
that certainly AI, machine learning is going to be a part of us first and foremost bringing that data together, and then looking at ways that we can capitalize on that larger universe of data, and then being able to pull different insights from them. So AI is going to be a big part of it. Blockchain is going to shift the way databases are maintained by our customers. It'll go from single source to a distributed database structure. Blockchain is going to change the way investment accounting systems support the custody business and how it supports the portfolio management business as well. And I think the other thing is the way things are purchased, the cryptocurrency, not just as an investment, but as a means of transactioning business, is also going to be there. So AI, machine learning, blockchain, cryptocurrency, which have all had different waves of popularity over the last 4 or 5 years, there really is going to be a convergence of that in a more accessible way than just being good ideas and really not understanding what it looks like. So it's going to be a huge shift in the way we deliver our services. It'll be a huge shift in the way our customers deliver their services. And I think it'll increase the opportunity for U.S. firms to do more business with non-U.S. customers, as well as non-U.S. entities having access to the U.S. market as well. It's going to shift cross-border business in a big way.
yeah, definitely allow for a lot more globalization, freedom of information and data.
Across borders.
So I think that's very insightful. I'm interested to see how we can do that. I know we've got a lot already in the works for those of our clients that are currently utilizing those kinds of services, and so I'm excited to see where this goes and what more we can do with this kind of information.
I think the kinds of questions that we ask, and we have to ask, because these are strategic questions around our future. But what I love about what we do with wealth management firms, asset management firms, is it always comes back to where the rubber hits the road. How are we serving our customers? What does the customer engagement look like? And there's things, terms like personalization, so that as we have large numbers of customers, and we try to do things in a consistent way, it doesn't mean every customer is getting the same kind of interaction. So there's a lot that I love about the industry and guessing what technology is going to do, but really it comes down to what do our customers, their clients, really anticipate and want to have. And I think as a vendor, and one of our strategies has always been to get as many people at first rate in with our customers and as close to their customers so that we can not just make good guesses about the future, but be a part of helping our clients develop what their clients are asking for. And that's been a vibrant part of our history for 33 years. We haven't said, we think the world is going to need this. We've partnered with our customers to help create that future. And I think it's still a part of our success and our future as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, being consultative with the clients, seeing what they know, and really working with them to craft that strategy is huge. And so my final question for you two, so First Rate's been around for 33 years, and there's a vision for First Rate to be around for 300 years, at least. We'll see if we can go further than that. But that's such a wide range and such a hard thing to grasp when, we even haven't been a country for 300 years. And so tell me a little bit about, what does that vision look like to you? What does that mean for the future of First Rate? How does that evolve? And how are we going to get to 300 years when none of us watching this
will be here
are going to be here for that?
Well, I think it's our hope that the presence of First Rate in communities, wherever we find ourselves as employers, that we be impacting that community such that that business would thrive and be relevant in 300 years. But it starts with the employees. Our company is not a family-owned business. We do own a share, but we want this company to be employee-driven, successful. We want them to be a part of the vision. And so right now we're working out a governance to go along with the trust, the 300-year trust that First Rate resides in, that would help in words put a picture together of what we want to see happen in the future, and that would be with the future employees of First Rate.
It's a daunting number to think 300 years,
it
because
is.
300 years ago was 1724.
Yeah.
And what was happening in the world, and thinking, okay, somebody was going to do something that would last 300 years. But I think the nature of for us in that vision, when God gave us a picture of our business being 50 times bigger, from the beginning we had a sense that this business was going to outlive us. We always had a sense of that. It would be multi-generational. And then about 10 years in, we got another nudge that it was going to be even bigger than the first vision of 100 or 50 times bigger. It was going to be 500 times bigger. And so those aren't numbers that we're chasing, but it was to create in us an understanding that this business wasn't for our lifetime, and it wasn't for us to grow and to sell. And so the idea of having something last for 300 years, both of us were like, that's crazy.
How do we do that?
But with just a little bit of research, you can do research and find oldest companies by country in the world. And the oldest company that's continuing to operate today is a Japanese construction company that was started in the 500 AD sometime, and it's still operating today. And then you look through by country, you can do some research, and businesses can last a long time if it's part of their purpose. So as Trina said, the governance is really becoming much more important for us in creating oversight, but as Trina said, it's employee-driven, customer-driven, it's market-driven, but with parameters so that we can continue to flourish and succeed in serving coworkers, customers, and communities, but not telling our future coworkers what they will be doing. We have to have enough freedom that they can adapt and still make it worthwhile without saying this is what you have to be doing. So we're working on that right now. The idea for 300 years was this is not something that we get to see completed in our lifetime, and that's one of the exciting things that's happening at First Rate is watching what I consider our second generation, because Trina and I stepped away in 2012, and management has been running the business for the last 12 years.
Yeah.
And
So that's been huge to watch that happen.
To watch
know
that
it can
happen.
Yeah.
And to see that. So now the next generation is running it, and we're seeing the third generation, you and the other young people that have taken hold of different parts of this business. And so it's actually the third generation that's beginning to operate right now. We're able to witness that and make sure that we're not strangling you, but giving you the permission to go pursue what the market is asking us to pursue.
Yeah.
It's huge.
And it's incredible, and it's an incredible vision. And as an employee, it's powerful to me that this company does have a purpose beyond just let's make profits and make money and do whatever, but that there really is a purpose behind why we exist as a company and what we're doing, and really articulating that to our clients, to the communities, and to our coworkers as well. So that way we're all on the same page about what we're about and what that shared vision is. Because if we don't all share that vision, then it's not going to happen.
Right.
So being able to articulate that, but to your point, have the freedom to adapt to the changes of the world and be able to continue with that foundation, but make those adjustments, I think is going to be really big for First Rate. And I'm fully confident that 300 years from now, maybe we won't have this podcast anymore, but First Rate will still be around.
Yes.
We'll still be drinking
Yes.
whiskey, and we'll still be doing wealth management services. Cheers.
Cheers to that.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your time today. This has been wonderful. And so now we can go hit the beach.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.